Well, hello and welcome back to Review Revision, and we've got a brand new episode for you today. This time we're looking at Estonia. Now, the question on everyone's lips this year is, could Estonia be the lucky ones? So before we delve in then with our thoughts on the piece, why not have a little bit of Estonian history at Eurovision? Well, they've participated 25 times since 1994, and Estonia actually won back in 2001, their only time of winning so far, with Tanel Padar and Dave Benton in Everybody. Now, since the semi-final in 2004 was introduced, they've actually failed to qualify 9 times, but they've reached the top 10, 4 times within that. Most recent of these actually was Elena Nechaeva in 2018. So a check at history, you could say, at Eurovision. I don't need a crystal ball to show me. Baby, explain that you don't know me. When it comes to you, I'm better off alone. I don't need a crystal ball to make me realize that if I... Let's delve in, shall we, with our critiques. Let's go to you first, Emily. What are your thoughts?
So I quite like this entry. I'm not a massive fan. For me, it's nice enough to listen to. It offers something that's kind of slightly darker than a lot of kind of the entries this year. It does have kind of like a more kind of muted tone. I know a lot of people have compared it to Arcade by Duncan Lawrence. So I do think that is quite kind of... Jack's face is there. Not impressed with that comparison. That's on the YouTube comments. I'm sorry, I haven't made it up. So yeah, for me, it's perfectly kind of pleasant to listen to, but it's not particularly kind of standout. And I did prefer Estonia's entry last year, but obviously it is kind of difficult for countries that are sending the same singer to kind of make that impact twice. So for me, yeah, it's fine. For me, would kind of probably make it into the final, but it's not a particularly high ranker for me.
Okay, interesting. What about you then, Jack? What do you think?
I do think I prefer this one, but admittedly, that's like saying I'd rather lick a cowpat than eat it. It's not... I don't want to do either, really, and I'm not a fan of this at all. I think it's something about his style of music, the way he sings. It's just very... It does not tick any of my boxes at all. And I think even the songwriting in this is just dire. And it's written by Uku and Sharon Vaughn, and she's an American songwriter. She's had a pretty long career. She's written quite a few things. She wrote Greece's entry this year as well, and a few of the entries last year. But if you look down at the entries she sent to Eurovision ever, all of them are awful, absolutely awful. She's clearly is not... Her style of songwriting is not at all what gels with me. I don't mind Greece, and you'll see the Greece review when that comes up in a few days. But that's the anomaly in a career of pretty crap songs, and this is another one. And I mean, just look at the lyrics, for instance. I've got them up here. The lyrics are that what we had was really unbelievable, unbeatable, a miracle. And then later on, he says unbreakable, shakeable, unsavable. Now, I don't know whether she's been sponsored by the thesaurus or something here, but trying to spin 6 cull or ubble words out of it just to make it right. It's in the space of about 15 seconds. He says unbreakable, unbeatable, miracle, unbreakable, shakeable, savable in about 15 seconds. It's ridiculous. She cannot write a song to save her life. It is just bad, 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 bad. And I never, ever want to hear this song again. after it's done. At least it's an improvement on last year, but that is not saying very much, because last year it was, I mean, one of the worst songs of the past 5 years. It was really bad. The one, there's very little redeeming about it. The music video is just an opportunity for him to get his top off, really. That's it. I think he is the only thing. Some people will just vote for him because he's not unattractive. But if you actually listen to the song, there is very, very little redeeming about this, other than the fact that it's better than last year. And that's not saying much. So yeah, I am not a fan in the slightest.
Gosh, that is so hard. I think it's fine.
It's fine in the sense that, like, not blowing up a cat is fine. Doesn't mean you can do it. It doesn't mean that's not a good benchmark. I don't want to be blowing up anything. You know what I mean? It is bad, but not the worst of the year. There are worse. Check out Sweden. Check out Sweden's entry. I go off on that.
The melody on it, okay, fair enough. When you can pick apart all the lyrics, yes, they could be better. But half the time, most people don't even pay attention to the lyrics.
Well, that's
if
good
you're
for them.
in another country and English isn't a language you speak, you're probably not paying attention to the lyrics. I think it has a perfectly nice melody. And it's just quite listenable, like it's easy to listen to.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You say it's English. Like, I do get that. English, not everybody speaks perfect English and is going to be listening to the lyrics that closely. But the songwriter is American. He's from Estonia and the other person is American. So she should know better than this. There is no excuse for someone who speaks English as their first language to stick 6 words that are pretty much the same and make them rhyme. No, it's pathetic. Like, genuinely is pathetic. And I hope Estonia, he only won this national final because he had the sympathy vote of not going from last year. And he's fairly popular in Estonia. That's the only reason. The juries didn't like it at Estilal, the national selection. The televote did. I think that's going to happen here because it's bad.
Well, actually, I thought it was a bit of a funny one, really. It was quite risque. Like Estonia meets 50 Shades, that sort of thing, which I wasn't expecting, to be fair, for Eurovision. But it was quite catchy. And had a feeling that, and this is probably going to sound so contradictory given my thoughts on the risqueness, it felt very safe, I thought. There was nothing really in it that made me think this is really, really good and this is sort of pushing boundaries. I mean, it didn't leave me felt like the lucky one watching it, to put it in that way. I just think it was quite, do you know what? I can't even put it into words, really. There was just something about it that I just thought was disappointing more than anything. I didn't really understand it. Maybe it's one of those ones you have to understand a little bit, but I did struggle a little bit with that. Anyhow, let's have a little look at our scores. Emily, what do you think it will rank as, and will it go through okay?
Yeah, I think it does it could potentially struggle to get through to the final. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get through. But for me personally, I put it at number 16, which, based on Jack's comments, is probably far too high. But yeah, I don't mind it. I do not have an issue with this song. So yeah, I think it'll probably struggle in the semis. I think especially if it was in semi-final 1, it would probably have no chance of getting through. This is obviously kind of a slightly weak semi, so yeah, we'll just have to see.
And Jack, what about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think 16 is very, 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 very generous. Double that and add 2, and then that's my one. I put it down as 34, which even that, upon reflection, I think is actually quite kind. It's better than Sweden. Sweden is 35 for me, and this is better than Sweden because Sweden makes me want to puncture my own eardrums. This isn't quite that bad. I just never want to have to listen to it again. Once this is done, I think this stands absolutely no chance of qualifying. It's one of the in the same barrel as like Slovenia, North Macedonia from the first semi. There is not a single scenario that I can envisage where this qualifies, and it would have struggled anyway, even though this is the weak semi-final of the two. I think it would have struggled anyway, but the fact that it comes immediately after San Marino is just any whatever song, if unless it was a really strong song, whatever comes after San Marino is not going to come very well, because especially if as well Flo Rida is there, people will be so shook that Flo Rida is representing San Marino and that their song is so damn amazing that this is just gonna, people are gonna completely forget it.
Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of my ranking, I actually ranked it as 29, so fairly low down, to be quite honest with you. Again, I was confused. I didn't really know what to do with it. I think that was part of the problem. Nevertheless, interesting to see what happens with it, I think, on the night, and how it will do when it's live as well. Anyhow, that's given us a total score with all of our scores together of 79. Now, that is not a brilliant score, to be quite honest. Not awful, but very much not one of the best yet. Anyhow, let us know what you think about it. Drop down to the comments section, drop your thoughts in there. Follow us on social media at reveurovision on Twitter and Instagram, and be sure to subscribe to the page too and hit the bell icon, where you can have a wealth of our videos so far and even more to come. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Again, though, thank you for joining us, and we'll be back with a brand new episode again tomorrow. See you then.